fragrance was increasing, Vardhana, moment by moment, hour by hour, and eventually he lost his life. This is a lesson of Veda, Puran. 5 entities lose their life because of their individual 5 uncontrolled senses. So some people are smellaholics. Some people are smellaholics. They're crazy about smells. They buy new perfumes every day and new hairsprays and new hair conditioners and shampoos and all kinds of things. Oh, that's so nice, and that's so nice. And pretty soon in their bathroom and their dressing room or bedroom, they have thousands of useless bottles of perfumes and things they tried for a week and chucked out and then just piled up for 20 years. This is, people are crazy about fragrances, anointing their body and surrounding themselves with various mundane fragrances. They don't necessarily lose their lives, but they lose a lot of their attention that they could have placed on God. So now we go to taste. Remember all the sweets? Remember all the sweet shops? Remember all the pizzas and restaurants? How can you forget? You're an Indian. There's 3 things that are big in India. What are those 3 biggest things in India? Religion, eating, and making money. I'm not sure of the order. Maybe it's eating. Eating, making money, and religion. What's the order? Money? No, eating. No, money. Without any money, you can't eat. Somehow you eat. You go to your grandmother's and beg food. Eating, making money, and then, we run out of money, then we become religious. That's a joke, but no one's laughing. Delayed canned laughter. Now let's go to taste. Ras Swadanam. Which living entity, according to Puran as the example, loses his very existence, his very life, becomes annihilated and murdered and destroyed by uncontrolled tongue. Jiva Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Manasa Krodha, Jiva Manasa Krodha Vegam. And sadhana, every yoga sadhana, Raj Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, every yoga sadhana has yama niyam. And it begins with niyama, sense control. Control the senses. This is the beginning. There's asan, then there's pranayam. There's yama niyama, which means sense control. Unless the senses are controlled and you become sattvic, you can't do asan. So first there's yama niyam, which means sense control, then asan. Because first you control the senses, then you can sit peacefully, because sattva gunas come inside. And now you can do asan, and with the purpose of asana is to do pranayam. Not control your 5 senses, but to control your 6th sense. Yama niyama are performed and practiced by all yogis to control their panch indriya, nose, eyes, tongue, etc. And then asan. Without yama niyama, without creating a sattvic ahar, sattvic vichar, then there's no asan, because too much raja in the body. Can't sit still for 1 minute. Then pranayam. Why pranayam? Okay, my basic senses are somewhat capped and under control. I'm sitting in asana, I do pranayam. Balance the chakras, balance the senses. Now, pranayama is to control the big daddy, the uparwala, and the uparwala lives up here in the brain, called mind. Through mantra, through meditation. So then we control the mind by pranayam, the movements of the vritti, manovritti. And then when the mind is controlled by pranayam, why we're controlling the mind, then it's pratyahara. We withdraw the mind from going out to its objects of senses. In other words, we're sitting, our eyes are closed or half closed, we're meditating, doing pranayam. So we're not engaging our working senses or our enjoying senses. We're not looking at anything externally, touching, tasting, but our mind is going there. Just like when we dream, our mind isn't enjoying our senses. Our mind is enjoying. We're seeing, smelling, tasting. We dream about pizza and we taste it, we see it. So all the sense experiences are there in the mind. So the yogi, when he's conscious or unconscious, he has to pratyahara. He he has to withdraw not the senses from their objects, because that's already done in pranayama, because you're not going anywhere. You're not eating, you're not speaking, you're not anything. He has to control the tendency of his mind due to sanskaras, the tendency of his mind to have vikshepa, distraction, to run out through the subtle channels of the senses. Because if he doesn't do that, if he's meditating and then some object comes in his mind, like he's in the house and he's meditating, his wife is moving here preparing his tiffin or whatever, early morning meditating. And suddenly the form of the wife comes in his mind. It's called vikshepa, while he's meditating. And it becomes very prominent, and he can't withdraw his mind from that subtle channel of the sense. Then he opens his eyes, what's my wife doing? Or the ears, you try to meditate on your japa. But the external ear has the internal ear pathway. The external ear and the internal ear pathway, internal sense pathway, and they go to the mind. Because the external sense objects only hit. They hit here. They hit the ears, tympanic membrane, whatever, the eye. Then it has to go from here to the mind for processing. So then he has his cell phone here, nearby, on silent. And he's chanting japa. And then a thought comes in his mind, a vikshepa, a distraction, to hear. Has my cell phone rung? But it's on silent. But he wants to, so then he looks to see, oh, it has rung, but it's on silent. So he did not do pratyahara. His internal channel of hearing went out, disturbed his meditation, disrupted it, and he looked towards his cell phone. Oh, it's on silent. I did get a call. Hello? And that's called jap sadhana nasht. In Kali Yuga, it's very, very difficult to do meditation. Because after pratyahara comes dhyanam, meditation. Jap dhyan, jap meditation. So therefore our acharyas, Mahajans, and our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said meditation, jap dhyan, rup dhyan, lila dhyan, very, very difficult for the Kali Yuga people. Better we do Nam Sankirtan, Hari Nam Sankirtan. Many men together chant the holy names of the Lord with karta, mardanga, dolak, cymbals, flutes or esraj, musical instruments, because it captures the sound and the enhancement and the variety and the rhythm and the tal. It captures us, our bodies, our hearts, and we can dance in elation. And then we can, with all that power and all that influence, and Sankirtan means many people get together and meditate on a loud vibration with musical accompaniment of Bhagavan's holy name. Ram Nam Sankirtan, Sri Hari Nam Sankirtan, Krishna Nam Sankirtan. Then it has good effect. We can capture that sound and stay with that sound for hours after hours. Hare Krishna, changing tal, changing tune, changing rag, changing melody. Because we're people of change in Kali Yuga. To sit down for 10 minutes, practically, I challenge who can even do. Rajasic environment, Rajasic vichar, achar, Rajasic food, Rajasic ideas, Rajasic work. It's impossible to actually sit down and meditate. There's lots of false attempts to meditate for shanti, but that's not the purpose of meditation. Because I'm talking about yoga meditation. Gyan yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Bhakti yoga. So therefore, this little entity, we're talking about rasam now, taste. We're talking about so many restaurants. We can't control our taste. So now I want to eat all these kinds of foods, Indian cuisine and international cuisine, which they call continental. Let's go to a continental restaurant. Let's go to an Indian regional restaurant. Let's go to French, Chinese, Mexican, tortillas, burritos, etc. They have all these things, chips and that, fries and chips and all these things. But now someone says, my dear friend, please take Krishna prasad, because Krishna will capture your tongue. Krishna will satisfy your tongue. When you start taking Krishna prasad, Bhagavat prasad, pure vegetarian food offered to Ram, Krishna, Vishnu, then a new taste arises. Rasam ananga vardhanam. Bhagavad Rasam, Prasad, Mahaprasad Rasam, Ananga Vardhanam. Ananga, lust, craving, intense attachment and desire to relish not Maya or pizza or ice cream or apple pie or burritos or whatever, or any mundane thing of this world, ordinary food. Vardhanam, we have ever-increasing desires to have Mahaprasad because we get the higher taste of Krishna consciousness. Bhakti, contact with God, not through Nashamya Gita. Nashamya Gitam, Ananga Vardhanam. The gopis simply heard the Shabda of Krishna. They had not touched Krishna. They had not tasted his lips. They had not directly seen him to their eyes' satisfaction. A glance here, a glimpse from their window of the palace, a slight glance from between the kunjas as Krishna returned from Gocharan Leela. Not full-on sakshat darshan, or looking like lovers look at each other. If a man and a woman look directly at each other for a long enough time, they're in trouble. If they're both young and they're both lusty, which is everybody that's young and lusty. So therefore, the gopis never had that long look or that lasting look. Contemplation, dayato vishayam pumsam. Krishna says in Gita, from contemplation of the objects of the senses, one gets attachment. Oh, she's so nice. Can't take my eyes off. Oh, she's really nice. Oh, I like her. I get attached. How can I meet her? I want her. From lust, contemplation comes attachment. And attachment means renewed meditation, renewed thoughts. And then feelings, the thoughts are backed by feelings of I want, I need, I want to hold or have. And then comes lust. It's in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 59 and 60. Dayatam vishyam pumsam. Sangha sanjaya vijayate. It says that Sangha, when you associate with the objects of your meditation, the material sense objects, you get attached. Sangha. You get attached, you want association. So rasam, taste, swadanam. Oh, that bhog was bahut bhadiya. Chakachak bhog. That's such a big feast we had at that wedding party. Oh, I had a bad belly for 3 days. I had to take this Eno and this thing and that thing. And but I'm ready, I'm back in action. I'm ready for this weekend's wedding. So when you go to that wedding and chuck, and then you upchuck what you put down. Because in American slang, upchuck means to throw up or vomit. We say upchuck. So when you do chuck bhog, then you upchuck. It's called transiting between Hindi and English. Chuck, upchuck. Then your chuck that went down becomes chuck that comes up, and then it's not chuck, it's muck. It's muck and it's guck, and it's like not a good idea. The yogi doesn't eat too much, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Yogi's moderate. He's shamak. He's balanced. He doesn't eat too much or speak too much. He doesn't think too much. No, he thinks too much. He's balanced in his habits, his eating, and everything. So he's peaceful. Balance. The middle road. The Greeks always taught the middle road. Enjoy, but not too much. Balance. But when you have chuck and 50 chapan bhog, maybe a little over the top. Well, after all, it was my brother's wedding. Come on. It was a time for festivity, and I ate, and I ate, and I ate. And now I'm suffering like anything. Peit bolo anande. Rasam, swadanam, restaurantum. Rasam, swadanam, restaurantum? I never heard this word. This Hindi word, restaurantum. Yes, restaurantum. Rasam, swadanam, restaurantum. French restaurantum for French rasam. We say, go to the Krishna temple. Take Krishna Mahaprasad. That great mercy. What's the greatest? Prasad means mercy, grace, kindness, blessing. What's the greatest blessing or mercy any human could ever get in this life? To receive a beautiful person to love you and give your love to throughout your life. Prasadam ultimately means great prasadam. Mahaprasad means great prasadam means great love. We say Mahaprasada means the greatest love. Because the greatest love, if you have a wonderful lover, a wonderful wife or husband, you consider that's the greatest mercy of God. That's the greatest grace of God, the greatest kindness, to have someone that really, genuinely, sincerely loves you, or that you can invest your love in. So that's what we go to the temple for. Mahaprasad means Mahaprem, Krishna's prem, because the Shastras are telling what is prasad. It is the Adhara Rasam. It is a Krishna Adhara Rasam. It is the Rasam, it is the Swaranam, it's Krishna's lips, the taste of Adhar Ras, Adhar Amritam. This Mahaprasad is told in Shastra to be it is not simply pakora or halava. Oh, my wife makes halava and the pujari makes halava. We offer it even to our Gopal, or maybe we just eat it, and they offer in the temple. But there's some extraordinary taste when I go to the temple. Some very special taste. I eat halava in the restaurant. But when I eat halava in the temple, Mahaprasad halava, that is actually Mahaprem. It's full of the Krishna Adhara Amritam. It is the nectar of the lips of God. It is not Kamadev's rasam. Kamadev, the material Nanga, he gives us rasam. Rasam in the form of tasty foods. Rasam in the form of tasty lips. Adhara means lips. And Amrita means the nectar of, we sing songs, oh, the nectar of my lover's lips. The nectar of her lips, his lips. When I kissed my beloved. This is considered in romantic situations or novels, it's used as some idea of happiness. Adhara Amritam. But now Krishna Adhara Amritam, which means alokik, transcendental, divya Adhara Amritam, the taste of Krishna's lips. It's in Mahaprasadam. Jagannath Ji Mahaprasad, Srinath Ji Mahaprasad, Radha Raman Mahaprasad, Ramji Mahaprasad, Sri Krishna Ji Mahaprasad. A new life's experience, a thrill for the tongue, a bliss and happiness for the mind. This is Krishna appearing before us as rasam, swaranam, to capture our tongue. As you see in the next verse, grihita manasa, that Krishna captured, he seized, he took over the gopis only with shabda, with the sound of his flute, his murali nad, his jago kalam. That's the next line, grihita manasai, completely, fully 100% seized their mind. So any contact with Krishna, our mind can become seized and delivered. Mantra, to deliver the mind, free the mind. So Krishna's mantra is Mahaprasad. Krishna's food remnants is Mahaprasad. Krishna's Gita Vani is Mahaprasad. Krishna's Bhagavat Vani is Mahaprasad. Krishna Bhaktas, Premi Bhaktas, Sadhu Sangha is Mahaprasad. It's all love. Mahaprem, the nectar, the ocean of bliss coming from the Lord's heart. So this shows 3 of our senses can be captivated. But what's the example I said in Shastra? 5 living entities lose their lives. We heard about the honeybee losing his life for smell. We heard about the moth or the patang losing his life for the rupam and gandha. Now, what is the characteristic living entity, according to Puran, who loses his life according to Swad? The machli. Do you know machli? Machli means fish in Hindi. Machli. The fish, they get hooked. There's a line with a hook or a big net, a maya jal. And the fisherman throws his net, but usually the analogy that the Shastras are using is not net, but taste. Because the fish has eaten so much. God, Bhagavan, has made all provisions, Om Purnamadam Purnamidam, for living entities in the air, like birds, to get all their food. Living entities on the ground, like us, to get all their food. And he's made arrangements for living entities inside the ground, under the ground, to get all their food. And Krishna has made arrangements for all the living entities in the water, in the lakes, in the rivers, in the oceans, to have their food. They don't need more. But because of Anangavardhanam, Rasa Anangavardhanam, because the effect of lust, craving for more taste, more restaurants, more cuisines, continental and intercontinental and supercontinental and intergalactic restaurants. This is an intergalactic restaurant serving special moon food and Venus food, recipes from Venus. People go there like anything, chasing their tongue, chasing for ras. So the fish, he has his fill. God has filled him up nicely. But the fisherman throws a hook and a line with a little tiny worm there, a little creamy. And then the fish is so happy and he's so full and he's swimming around, cruising in the water. Then he sees, oh, look at that, tasty, sweet, looks like Glavjaman. And I'm already full already. But looks so nice. And he's dancing under the water and he's moving like this and that because the fisherman's moving his hook like this and like this. Oh, and it's so tantalizing my eyes and, boy, it really looks good. Let me pull in and buy one. So then he goes, tomp, and he bites. He's pulled out of the water and he's fried. He's dead. He's finished because he could not control his tongue. Jiva. Rasam, that burning craving for tasting food. A man sits at home. He eats a very large lunch that his wife cooks for him. Very satisfying. Then he gets in the car and he goes back to work. And on the road he sees someone frying up some aloe tikki. And he says, oh, I really like those. And the guy only comes here in the winter time. And I know I had a full lunch and I'm really satisfied, but it's all right. Life is to enjoy. Let me enjoy my tongue. Hey, driver, or whatever, pull over the car. Hey, give me 5 of those. Give me 3. Yeah, put a little chutney, this, that, sauce, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Then he comes home at night. And the wife makes nice dinner. And he says, no, I'm not hungry. Because on the way after lunch, I had 5 aloo tikkis. And on the way back, I couldn't wait till I got home for dinner. So I stopped and had a pizza and a milkshake. So I'm really sorry, but all the beautiful puris you made and sabji and chutney and pakoras and kheer, and I'll take that maybe tomorrow. This is how it goes on. Because of uncontrolled tongue, you get in trouble with your wife or husband. Because of uncontrolled tongue, you take another birth. Because of uncontrolled tongue, you can kill yourself. You can die from eating too much, and people do. You can choke to death. You can just get too big and upset your whole system. You eat too many sweets, you get diabetes. You ruin your kidney functioning and liver. This is reality. But then we turn to Krishna and we take Mahaprasad, and gradually we start saying, I like to go to the temple. There's something about this Govinda Prasad, Mahaprasad, this Krishna Mahaprasad. Too tasty. It's tasty, yes, but it's some extraordinary satisfaction that I'm losing my desire to taste Kamdev, the material lust. In fact, I met a devotee at the temple. He said, sir, why don't you become vegetarian? And I said, oh, no, it's not so possible. It's like this. So then gradually he said, oh, you take some prasad here, take some Mahaprasad home, and take some for your wife and for your children. I'm giving so much Mahaprasad. And after a few months, he comes back and says, listen, Krishnadas at the temple, I'm taking up your offer. I'm going to become vegetarian. Acha? How so? How did you change? I don't know. I just feel like my grandmother was a vegetarian, my great-grandmother, but, modern times and way things are, go this way, that way. But now you've been giving me this Mahaprasad, and maybe I should be vegetarian. So I became vegetarian, believe it or not. Well, what do you know? That's the power of the higher taste of Krishna Rasam. Krishna Adara Amritam. Miracles, magic. We see it all the time. And anyone in the audience can experience the same magic. You want to become vegetarian? Go to the temple and start taking Mahaprasad. I guarantee within some short time you will become vegetarian. That's all you have to do. Just take Mahaprasad. And more than just becoming a vegetarian is that you'll become a prasaditarian. There's vegetarian and there's prasaditarian. What will happen then, Because Krishnadas, as I mentioned, he's speaking with you and reveal how you became a vegetarian. Then later when you meet him again, he feels, well, this is a fertile field to speak to. So maybe he'll listen to my Vani. So you say, listen, my friend who became Mr. Vegetarian friend, why, I have a proposal. You like Mahaprasad so much, and you're always coming here and we're saving some for you and making arrangements for you, and you see the change and experience, you feel happy when you take it, you're becoming a better person, you're happy for that. It's all the mercy of Bhagavan. Why don't you offer at your house all your food to Bhagavan? And then in your very house and in your very tiffin, in your office, in your house, in the car, you can have Mahaprasad, Bhagavat Prasad. Oh, I can do that. Yes. Oh, I don't have murtis, all this. No. You get some chitra, some tasvir, some pictures, Sitaram and Radha and Krishna, and you get some plate, some thali. You put your vegetarian bhog there, and you get some tulsi. Oh no, that's too much trouble now. Tulsi and this, that. I don't have a green thumb. I can't grow this tulsi. Okay. Anyway, you get the picture. You put the plate there. Then gradually, he'll say, oh, maybe, what, I always get this tulsi leaf. Yes, you also put tulsi. And then he gets tulsi. Now he starts eating vegetarian food, offered to Krishna in his own home by he or his wife or children, and he starts becoming a Mahaprasadatarian, which is much greater. Then he really becomes satisfied. Then he comes to our newest report to Krishnadas at the temple. Krishnadas, guess what? I used to stop on the roadside and eat this thing and that thing and snack here and snack there, even though my belly, I was full up to my neck. I ate so much to my neck, a kantapuriya, but still I would stop and eat a little snack here and there because, you know, I like all these things. Like sweets I like too much, or fries I like, or these type of things. So now I don't even stop there anymore. I go to work with my tiffin, I come home, I take prasad. I used to go every week to the restaurant, searching for they say, oh, there's a new Vietnamese restaurant that just opened, serving God knows what. and now I'm going here. It's a Chinese restaurant and this and that. Whatever they serve, you know better. But I don't go anymore. My wife still wants to go, but she's submitting to me. So I stopped going to restaurants. Oh, that's very good. Save a lot of money also. So one by one, Krishna takes over the senses, and he increases ananga. Spiritual ananga means intense craving, intense desires, intense energy and drive to love God, to have a romantic, intimate, personal, eternal relationship with Bhagavan in the form of Ram or Krishna or Vishnu, especially Krishna, because he's so lovable, he's so attractive, he's so sweet and charming and mysterious and funny. He's a very attractive God. He's considered to be the most attractive by the Tattva Vedantis and teachers of Shastra. All attractive Krishna. So in this way, we conquer the material god of lust by associating and inundating our senses with contact with the spiritual god of love. The material god Kamdev or Nanga becomes the spiritual god of divine love, surrender, an intimate, eternal exchange of sweet, pure, sacred love. This is divinity in its fullest expression. Intimacy, sweetness, and personal love. This is Krishna and Radha. And all of us, if we follow that path of Radha-Krishna Bhakti. Ananga is easily conquered. As we mentioned, hearing the Bhagavat, hearing Raasa Lila, conquers lust. Shraddhanvita, with faith. So let's go on and discuss some more points of this verse 29:4. Nishamya gitam tarananga vardhanam brajastriya Krishna grihita manasa. And Brajastriya, so Nishamyam Gitam, that very comforting, soothing song of God, that soothing contact. When one contacts Ananga Krishna, Ananga Bhagavan Sri Krishna, we say Ananta Bhagavan, Ananda Kanda Bhagavan, but there's Ananga, Ananga Bhagavan, that bodiless one. You don't perceive or see God until you're shuddh, or full of purity and prem. Then you have Sakshat, Bhagavat Sakshat Darshan. You can see Bhagavan Ram or Krishna before your very eyes by his divine mercy. With these eyes, you get Divya Chakshush. As Arjuna got Divya Chakshush to see God, his friend Krishna became God. He was looking at his friend, his Saketi, his Saka, Krishna, eating together, sleeping together, riding together, shooting arrows, enjoying together as friends in Dwarka and Hastinapur. Now he's going to see God. Virata Rup, Narayan, Bhagavan. He has to have some special goggles, some 3D glasses. It's a 3D movie. It's not 3D, it's 4D. What is 3D? 3 dimensions, length, width, and depth. What's 4D? 4D is length, width, depth, and consciousness. The 4th dimension is consciousness, chit, chinmay. So he has to put on 4-dimensional, 4D glasses to see the movie of Virata Rupa. And in Gita says, Krishna says, Arjun, I will give you divya chakshush, divine eyes by which you will see God. Sakshat darshan Virata Rupa, this is Vishnu, Aishvarya Bhagavan. Similarly, by the mercy of God, a Premi Bhakta, a Siddha, Sant, by the mercy of God, he'll be given Divya Chakshush. His eye will be able to see that Chinmay Sarup of the Lord. This is a material eye, but now it's Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksadev Hridiyesha Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Sarup Guna Sarupam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna, when the prema comes in the eye, one gets Bhakti Vilochan, that specialized eye of devotion that's colored and anointed with love, Divya, Alokik Prem. And then with that eye of love, which is that love itself, Prem is a gift of God. Prem Sarup Krishna places that Prem in our hearts so he can relish our expression and our offering of that Prem back to him. He's the source of Prem. He fills our hearts with it. And then with that filling of Prem, then we offer our love back to God. And Shuddh Shravan and Shuddh Kirtan and Shuddh everything pure and saturated with love. So he gives us the divine eyes, and then we can have Sakshat Darshan. But before that, the sadhaka experiences Krishna as the bodiless one, as the formless one, as Ananga. Krishna becomes formless because satisfaction is formless. Peace is formless. Love is formless. Ananga, bodiless. But when we contact Krishna with our ears and with our nose and eyes, his form, we become satisfied. Santosh. Prasanatma. Brahmabhuta prasanatma. Na sochati na kankshati. Samasarveshu bhuteshu. Mad bhaktim lavate. Mad bhaktim. My devotee becomes prasanatma because of contact with my rasam, my rupam, and my gandha, my sparsham. So now we're discussing how Krishna saturates our tongue, he saturates our eyes, he saturates our ears. Now what about Krishna Ananga? Before we go to the next line, how does Krishna saturate and captivate Grihita Manasa? Grihita Manasa, this next line, Brajastriya Krishna Grihita Manasa. There's Brajastriya. The Brajastri can be considered Nityabhata Jivas, conditioned souls like us, the sadhana siddha gopis. They were Rishicharis, Municharis, and so many other categories. And their previous Purva Janam, they did so many austerities to take Gopi Rupam, Gopi Janam, in Krishna Lila, Boma Vrindavan, Maharaj. So some gopis were sages and rishis, the Shruticharis. Now they have Gopi Sarup. So Krishna's going to call them Brajastriya, but they were conditioned souls. So Brajastriya means the Nitya Siddha Gopis and the Sadhana Siddha Gopis, Brajastriya. Then Krishna. And then what happened? Grihita Manasa. So that Krishna, Grihita Manasa, forcefully captured, captivated, and stole and took their minds away from everything. Grihita manasa. Whose mind? The sadhana, the sadhakas. Whose mind? The siddhas. The nitya siddha gopis and the sadhana siddha gopis. So that happens. Krishna takes away our mind also. We lose, as I already outlined in this 3 senses and 3 objects of our senses, how Krishna seizes our attention and captures and steals our attention away from restaurants and steals our attention away from